Hi guys, welcome. So exclusive breastfeeding can be a challenging task, can be a challenging process, can be a challenging endeavor. But even more challenging is how to navigate around it when it comes to an end. On a baby that has fed for the past 6 months or thereabouts on exclusively breast milk. So how do you navigate around introducing other food supplements, other food items other than the breast milk that the baby is so used to? It can be really challenging. The research has shown that most of the babies that have been exclusively breastfed are a lot more difficult to introduce infant formulas to. If you're trying to introduce an infant formula to your baby who has been exclusively breastfed, you'll notice that there are a lot of challenges for them to accept it, for them to really adjust to the fact that you're shifting them into something else other than the breast milk that they have always been used to. It's a lot easier when you have a baby and in less than a month of breastfeeding with breast milk, you decide to introduce other formulas and give them water. But when you have a baby that has been exclusively breastfed, it means that nothing else is given to that baby, not even water. All that you are focused on is breastfeeding this baby optimally with no other infant formulas. The World Health Organization has recommended that babies' first 6 months of life should be exclusive breastfeeding. Now 6 months, and you're about to switch into mixed feeding, talking about giving the baby breast milk as well as other infant formulas and other semi-solid food. How do we handle navigating around the end of exclusive breastfeeding? What do we do? How do we go about it? How do we make it easier for both the parents and the babies, mothers and their babies? Because you have been exclusively breastfeeding this baby, and all of a sudden now you're trying to introduce something that the baby is not used to, and the baby is not taking it, is not having it. You see most of them, throwing up, not accepting to take it in, preferring to stay even hungry than to take or ingest any of those infant formulas that you're introducing to them. How do you navigate around that? It's advisable that before you start introducing any kind of infant formula after exclusively breastfeeding your baby, you should start introducing them on water first. You should start introducing water to them, giving them in bits. You have a feeding bottle, put water into a bottle and start introducing it to them. Don't forget that it's important to keep it extremely clean. Keep them separate from your other plates and don't mix them up. This water and the feeder, and then you start feeding them bit by bit. Few days before you start introducing any infant formula. Another strategy to go about this thing is whatever infant formula you're trying to start introducing them to, it should be a formula that is friendly with the baby's digestive system. Their guts are not really developed like that, and they are not used to eating anything apart from breast milk. And we agree with me that breast milk is completely easy for their bodies to absorb and digest everything. So, but when you start introducing formulas, you would need to ensure that those formulas are friendly with their very gentle and young digestive systems. Formulas like Fish So Good is recommended for exclusively breastfed kids because it's very, very smooth. It doesn't have all these lumps or anything in it. And then it's advisable that you don't use hot water to mix up this infant formula. You make sure that it's lukewarm, you know, just as warm as the breast milk. Thirdly, make sure that whatever you're mixing is not, it has to be flowing. It has to be something that can flow and they can take it. If your baby is one that can take from the spoon, you might want to try that because at that point you're mixing semi-solid for them, but let it be a flowy semi-solid. Don't give them bit at a time because they're not used to swallowing anything other than the fluid that they have been used to. Thinking about the breast milk and of course the water that you have introduced them to just a few days prior. Then another thing that you look out for is that whenever you're making choices of your infant formula, don't go for infant formulas that have things that are really very strong and advanced. Let's take for instance, Don't give them something that has soya beans in it or hard grains in them yet. Artificial goats is acting very expensive, by the way. These days, the prices have skyrocketed and they are really high. You might want to try Nutribon, but this Nutribon, it has different flavors. Depending on the age of your baby, you should start with the rice base. It's a lot more friendlier to your baby's young digestive system. Nutribon honey and formula you're using, you should go with the one that is rice, because rice is soft and gentle on their young digestive system, all right? So you might want to start on that. Then maybe 2 months into that, you might want to introduce, maybe there's wheat, I think there's a wheat brand of that, Nutribon, and other food samples or formulas that you choose to use. You can go with, and then maybe eventually you have this one that is mixed grains. There's mixed grains. When you see that the baby, maybe at 8 to 9 months, the baby will be able to, consume that, because some of those ones have a little particles in them and they might not be able to swallow at the earlier stage of 6 months. So you might want to give them time, 8 9 months, before you introduce those mixed grains for them. Aside from that, maybe other food like mashed potatoes that you would want to give them. If you want to give them mashed potatoes or carrots or whatever it is that you want to give them, you would want to like cook it very well, and then make sure that it doesn't have particles or lumps in them as you're feeding with it. So it has to be really smooth as can be, so that they'll be able to swallow it, and then it will be easier on their digestive system to digest and process it for their growth. I hope that this has been able to help 1 or 2 people to navigate around exclusively breastfed babies. I guess I'll see you guys in my next one. If you're here and you are yet to subscribe to my channel, guys, what are you waiting for? This is the time to hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so that whenever we come online, you will be notified. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for your time. Guess I'll see you guys in my next one.